the moment you realize someone you trusted had never really been on your side. I was 13 when everything in our quiet little home shifted. My mother met a man named Victor at a charity bake sale. She came back glowing, calling him considerate and ambitious. Within 2 weeks, he was showing up with store-bought pies and a smile that never reached his eyes. Before he arrived, it had been just the two of us in a modest brick duplex. My mother worked at a dental clinic, steady if tired, and I filled my time with school and long afternoons in the attic where I kept my art supplies. We weren't close, yet we moved around each other without trouble. All of that changed in late June. I came home from a weekend school trip and found Victor's suitcases stacked by the TV. He had moved in sometime while I was away. My mother acted as if this had been settled for weeks. He wasted no time rearranging the place. He claimed the recliner, demanded quiet after dinner, and made sour remarks about the smell of my acrylic paints. When I passed him in the kitchen, he called me kiddo, in a tone that felt more like a warning than a pet name. In early July, he suggested turning the attic into his personal workshop. My mother agreed on the spot. My canvases, brushes, and sketchbooks were carried downstairs and stacked in my bedroom like clutter. She told me the attic was never meant for a child anyway. The first argument I heard between them came a few weeks later. Victor had not found work yet, though he kept talking about opportunities. My mother was the one paying for groceries and utilities. Their voices rose, then fell, and at the end, she whispered an apology that he accepted with a sigh loud enough for me to hear from the hall. By the time school resumed, Victor had started shaving in my bathroom because he liked the lighting. His towels lay twisted on the floor. One afternoon, I searched for my winter jacket and discovered it draped over the back of his desk chair. He said he only borrowed it for a minute. I never saw it again. Small things disappeared after that. A new pencil set, a silver necklace I had received from my aunt, even the allowance I kept hidden in a tin under my bed. When I told my mother, she brushed it off. She said I misplaced things often and needed to be more organized. In December, Victor announced he wanted to host a holiday gathering for his old friends. He added that the house would be too wild for me and suggested I stay at my cousin's for the night. My mother supported him as though this was perfectly normal. When I complained, she said I had to stop making everything difficult. 3 days after Christmas, I returned from a morning walk to find my easel shunted to the garage to make room for Victor's exercise bench. My school binders were stacked beside the washing machine. When I confronted him, he laughed and told me to relax. My mother backed him without question. I snapped. I said he was using us, taking space, taking money, taking anything he wanted. My mother came home in the middle of my outburst and looked at me as if I had insulted her personally. She told me she was tired of my accusations and ordered me to pack a bag. She drove me to my father's place 2 towns over. I had not seen him in years. His apartment was small, neat, and filled with books instead of people. He seemed stunned when he opened the door, but he let me in. His wife Marla set up the sofa bed for me without a word. The early weeks were awkward. They both worked long hours. I felt like a visitor in a place that was supposed to be home. A new school, new teachers, no friends. I spent afternoons drawing on loose printer paper because I no longer had space for anything larger. My mother called once in February and once in April. Both conversations were about Victor's new project ideas, how wonderful he was, how much he had improved our household. She never asked how I was settling in. By summer, my father turned the small spare room into a proper bedroom for me. He painted the walls a pale blue and put up shelves for my art supplies. I found a part-time job at a bookstore and made a few friends at school. For the first time in a long while, I felt steady. 3 months later, my mother appeared at the door without calling. Her eyes were red. Victor had left her for a woman from his business group. He had drained their shared account and vanished. She wanted me to come home. My father and Marla let me take my time deciding. I thought about the winter jacket, the missing money, the way she had chosen him again and again. I stayed where I was. My mother had made her choice when it counted. I was finally learning to make mine.